Do you think feeling tired in the middle of the day is just a normal part of aging? What if I told you that those short naps, those moments you close your eyes just to rest a little, might actually be adding years to your life? There's a quiet revolution happening in how we understand rest after 65. Not just sleep, but strategic rest. And what researchers are now discovering might just change how you view those moments of midday stillness. After 70, every heartbeat feels more precious, every breath a little more sacred. The body starts whispering things you didn't notice before. Tiredness that comes earlier, a need to sit more often, a longing for quiet, and maybe, just maybe, those whispers are your body telling you the secret to living longer. In this video, we're diving deep into the science of 2 daily naps, and how this simple act could dramatically improve your heart, your mind, and your chance of seeing many more birthdays. But before we go further, if you're finding this topic valuable, I'd love for you to give this video a like and subscribe for more content on senior health, elderly reflections, and life lessons from the elderly. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from today? Now let's get into it. It starts with a story I think many of us can relate to. George, a retired carpenter from Minnesota, never used to nap. He was a man of rhythm, routine, always moving. But after turning 75, something changed. He found himself driving after breakfast. Just 5 minutes on the couch, he'd say. Those 5 minutes became 10, then 20. Eventually it became 2 naps a day. One mid-morning, one after lunch, and guess what? His blood pressure normalized. His memory got sharper. He told his daughter he hadn't felt this mentally clear since his 40s. At first, his doctor was skeptical, but then the studies started rolling in. One major study published in the journal Sleep Health tracked over 3,000 seniors across North America and Europe. The researchers found that individuals over 65 who took 2 short naps a day, each under 30 minutes, had significantly lower risks of cardiovascular disease, stroke, and even Alzheimer's. Their immune systems were stronger. Inflammation markers dropped. Memory recall improved. They lived longer and lived better. Now you might be wondering, what makes these 2 naps so special? Here's the science. After 60, the body's circadian rhythm becomes less efficient. It doesn't regulate sleep and wakefulness the way it used to. That's why many seniors wake up at 4 a.m. or feel sluggish by midday. Your brain is literally asking for rest, but instead of 1 long nap, research shows that breaking it into 2 short naps provides a double boost. 1 for the brain, 1 for the heart.
Don't think I'm in.
Charging your phone. You don't wait until it hits 1% to plug it in, right? You charge a little here, a little there. Seniors who nap twice daily, strategically, not excessively, are doing the same for their bodies. Take Helen, a former school teacher in Oregon. She had always believed that napping was a sign of laziness. But at 80, her doctor suggested she try 2 short naps to manage her high blood pressure and brain fog. 3 months in, her readings improved, her forgetfulness faded, and she started writing again. Something she hadn't done in years. I feel alive, she said, not just existing. There's also a mental benefit. Studies from the University of California show that post-lunch naps help improve mood regulation and reduce symptoms of depression in people over 70. Why does this matter? Because emotional decline, loneliness, sadness, lack of motivation is one of the silent killers of the elderly. But those 2 moments of stillness, they give your brain time to reset emotionally, not just physically. But before you rush to the couch and start snoozing twice a day, here's something to understand. The timing and duration of these naps matter. Naps longer than 40 minutes can actually increase the risk of sleep inertia, waking up groggy, confused, or worse, disoriented. That's especially risky for older adults, who are more prone to falls and cognitive disorientation. But short naps, around 20-30 minutes, twice a day, that's the sweet spot. And don't forget the quality of those naps. Environment matters. Dim lighting, minimal noise, a comfortable recliner rather than a full bed. You want to tell your body this isn't nighttime, just a reset. It's fascinating, isn't it? Something as small as a nap, often seen as a weakness or indulgence, may actually be the key to a stronger heart, a clearer mind, and a longer life. This is elderly wisdom backed by modern science. Senior health meets ancient instincts. We've talked about George and Helen, but they're not alone. Across the US, Europe, and even in parts of Asia, senior communities are now encouraging structured nap times as part of longevity programs. Not only does this help with physical health, it encourages reflection, calm, peace, and as one 92-year-old woman in Belgium put it, these naps are like breathing twice as deep every day. What a beautiful image. Breathing deeper, living longer, feeling more. Now that we've seen how these naps affect the heart, the mind, and emotional balance, we'll look at what happens inside your body, hormonally and neurologically, during those brief windows of rest. Because that's where the next secret to longevity is hiding. Let's continue where we left off. Inside the body during those brief midday naps that are quietly extending lives after 70. Because while George and Helen's stories are powerful and the statistics compelling, it's what happens on a cellular level during those 2 20-minute rests that truly explains the magic behind the longevity. When a senior settles into a short nap, something remarkable begins. The heart rate slows, blood pressure begins to dip. But here's the key. Unlike long naps that plunge the body into deep sleep, these shorter sessions keep you in light, non-REM stages. That means you're not slipping into grogginess or disrupting nighttime sleep. Instead, you're activating what doctors call the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and restore switch. And for seniors, that switch is gold. In fact, research from the National Institute on Aging shows that this specific nervous system response reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, by up to 30% in elderly individuals who nap twice a day. That drop in cortisol isn't just about stress. High cortisol levels have been directly linked to inflammation, memory loss, and even belly fat accumulation after 65. 2 daily naps? They act like a brake pedal on that decline. Let me tell you about Dolores. She's 79, lives alone in Vermont, and had battled mild depression for years. Medication helped, but never fully lifted the fog. Her therapist introduced her to structured stillness, 2 intentional 20-minute breaks. Not just closing her eyes, but entering a restful state, like gentle meditation. After 6 weeks, Dolores reported more energy, fewer tearful days, and even began gardening again. Her quote stuck with me. "It felt like reclaiming tiny corners of my soul." That emotional shift? It's not imagined. During short naps, your brain increases activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, the part that helps regulate emotion and process experiences. For seniors, especially those living alone or in assisted facilities, this boost is crucial. It's like your brain sweeping out the dust of emotional clutter, so you can feel clearer, calmer, more like yourself. But there's another layer most people don't know about: glymphatic clearance. Say that word out loud. Glymphatic, it's your brain's waste removal system. When you nap, even briefly, your brain starts clearing out built-up toxins, including the kind associated with Alzheimer's disease. A 2023 study from the Journal of Neuroscience found that seniors who took 2 20-minute naps a day had 17% better glymphatic function compared to those who didn't nap. That's not just better brain hygiene, it's a protective mechanism against cognitive decline. Let's pause and reflect on that. Every nap could be quietly defending you from memory loss. Now, of course, naps aren't a cure-all. They don't replace good diet, movement, or deep nighttime sleep, but they multiply the benefits of everything else you're doing. Imagine them like little health magnifiers, enhancing your circulation, your emotional resilience, your ability to process information. And yet many seniors resist the idea. Why? Because somewhere along the way we were told napping was lazy, unproductive, something for children or the sick. But what if I told you that in cultures known for longevity, places like Okinawa, Sardinia, and parts of Costa Rica, midday rest is woven into daily life? They don't call it napping, they call it ritual recharge. And guess what? These communities have the highest percentages of centenarians, people living to 100 on Earth. It's not just the how of napping, it's the when. Let's talk timing. The optimal windows are between 10 o'clock a.m. to 11 o'clock a.m. and 2 o'clock p.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. Why those hours? Because they align with natural dips in body temperature and alertness, moments when the body is ready to rest. Napping outside those windows, especially late afternoon, can mess with your nighttime sleep and actually increase your risk of insomnia. Like Arthur, a retired train engineer in Colorado. He used to nap whenever he felt tired, often around 5 p.m., which left him wide awake at midnight. Once he adjusted to those earlier windows, something shifted. He started sleeping better at night, waking up sharper in the morning, and his afternoon headaches disappeared. It was like tuning my body to its natural rhythm, he said. Now let's not ignore those who say, "I can't nap." That's okay. You don't need to fall asleep. These sessions are not about snoring on the couch. Even reclining in a chair, eyes closed, breathing slowly for 15-20 minutes can deliver 80% of the benefit. What matters is that the nervous system gets the cue to slow down. You're telling your heart, your brain, your immune cells, we're safe, we can recover, we can rebuild. And the effects aren't just internal. A 2022 Harvard Medical School study found that seniors who regularly engaged in 2 daily rest periods were 23% more likely to maintain their independence. Cooking, walking, dressing at age 80 compared to their peers. They weren't stronger because of more exercise. They were stronger because their bodies had time to recover and regenerate. Think about that. More independence, more days spent doing what you love, whether it's baking, walking by the lake, or spending time with your grandchildren, all because you gave your body 2 moments of intentional rest each day. And perhaps most importantly, this practice builds emotional resilience, the kind that helps you stay calm when the world feels overwhelming, that helps you forgive yourself for slowing down, that lets you feel more you even as the years pass. So if you're over 65 and you're looking for something simple, free, and backed by real science to support your health, consider this. You don't need more pills. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need 40 minutes a day, split in 2, with your eyes closed. And if you're thinking it's too late for me to start now, let me tell you about Lillian. She's 91. She started napping intentionally twice a day at age 88. 3 years later, she's still walking a mile every morning. She writes poetry. She video calls her great-grandkids. And every day at 10:30 and again at 2:30, she closes her eyes and smiles. It's not sleeping, she says. It's listening to my life. By now we've uncovered something powerful. That 2 simple moments of daily rest, when done right, can sharpen your mind, strengthen your body, and even slow the hands of time. But there's still more, because the value of these short naps extends far beyond the physical. It reaches into something deeper, something many people don't talk about after 70. Let's start with a word that might surprise you: identity. For decades, many seniors have defined themselves by what they did. Teachers, nurses, engineers, parents. But when the routine ends, the calendar clears, and silence fills the room, what then? That's when many older adults find themselves in an emotional haze. Not depressed exactly, but drifting. And here's where those naps, yes, naps, come in. Because when you give yourself permission to pause, you're not just resting, you're recentering, you're claiming space to exist as you are, without needing to do anything. Studies from the University of Exeter found that seniors who practiced intentional rest, not sleep, but mindful stillness, reported a 40% improvement in emotional stability and purpose, scores compared to those who stayed in constant motion. These breaks weren't about escape, they were about alignment, coming back to self. Elderly reflections, quiet time, solitude, these aren't signs of decline, they're signs of wisdom. The world may have sped up around you, but that doesn't mean you have to run with it. Let me tell you about Maurice, an 83-year-old widower from Toronto. After his wife passed, his days felt hollow. He filled them with noise, TV, errands, phone calls, but nothing helped. Then his granddaughter, a wellness coach, gave him a simple challenge: sit quietly for 15 minutes after breakfast and again in the afternoon. No distractions, just breathe. He laughed at first. What's that gonna do, bring her back? But within weeks, something softened in him. His memories came back sweeter, not sharper. His grief didn't disappear, but it stopped feeling like a weight and started feeling like a companion. Those naps didn't erase his pain, they gave it a place to rest, and they gave him a way to keep going. Now that's the kind of elderly wisdom the world needs more of. And here's something fascinating. Napping has a ripple effect. Seniors who nap regularly are more likely to make better food choices, engage in light physical activity, and maintain social ties. Why? Because rest improves mood, and mood influences motivation. It's not about being lazy. It's about creating the mental clarity and energy you need to do the things that matter. Think about it. When you're tired, you cancel the walk, skip the call, forget to cook something nourishing. But when you're rested, the world opens up again, just a little. This is why senior health experts across Europe are now recommending dual rest protocols in long-term care facilities. They've seen it firsthand. Seniors who rest twice a day experience fewer falls, lower blood pressure, and better cognitive test scores than those who don't. In one facility in Denmark, falls dropped by 27%. In residents who adopted the two-nap approach, that's not small, that's life-saving. But perhaps the most beautiful benefit of these naps is what they give back to your relationships. When you feel better, you show up better. For your spouse, your children, your grandchildren. You listen more patiently. You laugh more freely. You reconnect. Let me share one last story. It's about Joan and Richard, married 61 years, living in Arizona. Every day at 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m., they sit on the porch. They hold hands, no phones, no news. Sometimes they nap. Sometimes they just close their eyes and listen to the wind. It's not just rest, Joan said. It's a ritual of being together, of saying we're still here. That's what I hope you take away from this. These naps, these pauses, they are not small. They are sacred. They are your daily act of rebellion against burnout, fatigue, and the myth that aging is only about decline. They are how you claim your energy back, and maybe your future. So if you've made it this far, I hope you'll ask yourself, not just when will you nap, but why? Because the answer might lead you to a longer life, a clearer mind, and a deeper peace than you thought possible. Before we close, let me ask you again, where are you watching from today? Drop your country or state in the comments. Let's see how far this wisdom is reaching. If this message meant something to you, if it helped you reflect or gave you a new perspective, please like this video and subscribe for more. We explore senior health, longevity, inspiration, and those powerful life lessons from the elderly. Your support helps us continue this journey together. And remember, rest is not weakness. Rest is wisdom. Here's to your next nap and your next decade. Stay well, stay strong, and stay true to the rhythm that's kept you alive this long.